All right, you are looking live at the Vice President of the United States. He is addressing a climate change summit going on at the Executive Office building right next door to the White House, a place that maybe he will want to call home very soon if early indications are he has decided to go ahead and try for a presidential run. We don't know. We do know that a decision is reportedly imminent, but there's no use in guessing. We just know that the vice president is very good at teasing. In the meantime, to Texas, and that state, the latest now to say, when it comes to funding Planned Parenthood, not a cent of our Medicaid money. Texas saying that it is not going to happen, but it follows a number of states that have argued the same argument that it doesn't deserve it, that it's lied to taxpayers, and so we shouldn't be funding that activity. Of course, the devil is in the details, and right now the devil is also in lawyers who line up to oppose these actions. Our Shannon Bream with the latest. Shannon.
Well, Neil, the state of Texas is getting tough with Planned Parenthood notifying all the affiliates in the Lone Star State that it's launching the process to terminate their access to millions in Medicaid funding. In a letter today, Texas officials accuse Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast of agreeing to illegally alter abortion methods solely for the purpose of obtaining fetal tissue. Quote, the state has determined that you and your Planned Parenthood affiliates are no longer capable of performing medical services in a professionally competent, safe, legal, and ethical manner. Planned Parenthood today says, quote, we will fight back against this outrageous, malicious, political attack in Texas with everything we've got, and we will protect women's access to the health care they need and deserve.
I think what Texas has done is Texas has shown that it is willing to take the lead and to hold Planned Parenthood accountable for the millions of dollars in waste, abuse, and taxpayer fraud that Planned Parenthood has committed.
Planned Parenthood has denied any wrongdoing. By the way, Louisiana has also attempted to block Planned Parenthood funding. That would have gone into effect today, but a federal judge has blocked that for at least 14 additional days as the dispute plays out. Neil?
Amazing. All right, Shannon, thank you very much. Shannon Bream. We've got with us right now Texas Republican Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Lieutenant Governor, you know the drill. A lot of people say you're wasting your time, that the legal football goes back and forth. Efforts like this in Louisiana have just been blocked, at least for 14 days, by a judge who said that Bobby Jindal went too far. Other states dealing with the same sort of legal back and forth. How do you expect Texas to avoid the same fate?
Well, good to be with you, Neil. First of all, our basis from our Office of Inspector General was based on not only the videos, but also what the videos showed us beyond the despicable behavior of Planned Parenthood employees. For example, we have learned now from inspecting Planned Parenthood clinics that they have not trained their employees as required by the law to handle blood and tissue. Secondly, they allowed people to come in who were posing as buyers of fetal tissue to handle a material they should not have, which could have caused the spread of infectious disease, not only to patients and employees, but to the general public. Look, I've known a long time, Neil, as a pro-life senator for 8 years. I passed the sonogram bill in Texas to require a ultrasound, a woman to have a choice to see one before an abortion, and that saved 12 to 15,000 lives. We've been on Planned Parenthood for a long time in Texas. We know that they're only in the business to profit from killing babies. At the end of the day, they have not had professional people working at their clinics, with the exception of the doctors that come in to take the life of an innocent baby. We've also launched a criminal investigation here in Harris County, where I live, because of the Planned Parenthood activities on that video here in Harris County. And when we first saw these videos back in July, I called our Senate chairman of Health and Human Services to have an immediate hearing on the activities of Planned Parenthood. And the investigation has begun at the state level, at the county level, and at the local level. We're not going to tolerate Planned Parenthood pretending, Neil, to be something they're not.
Right,
and there are plenty of other places that women can get health care.
I understand, sir. Do you think that Planned Parenthood does anything good?
No, I don't think they do anything good. Look, they're nothing more than a referral service. They pretend to care about women's health, but they don't have professionals even giving any information to women except referring them to another clinic. They don't have equipment. They don't do anything except profit from killing babies and then selling body parts of those aborted babies. I
understand your passion, sir, but they do a little bit more than that. Now, the reason why I mentioned it is because...
Neil, very little.
Fine.
Neil,
I know your passion's on this, but, Lieutenant,
yes.
What I'm asking you is, you know what's happened in Louisiana, you know what's happened in North Carolina and Arkansas and Alabama and Utah, New Hampshire and Indiana, states that have, by varying degrees, done what you are trying to do and been stopped legally at almost every pass. Now, there is an element of a sort of methodical mission to this. Obviously, you didn't get this done in Washington to the degree you would have liked to see it done. So much like Obamacare, you're trying to stop at least key financing measures, in that case exchanges, and stop them at your level. But is that really ever going to stop Planned Parenthood?
You'll never stop them if you don't keep trying. And Neil, let's be very clear. The goal here is to protect women. That's the goal here. We put $50 million more in our budget this year in the Senate. The governor signed the budget to women's health care. There are many federally qualified health centers, rural health centers, and other providers who can do a much better job for women in need of health care who are poor. So let's be very clear, Neil. This isn't a political battle. It is not a political battle. This is a battle to protect women and make sure that women, particularly those who are poor, who go to Planned Parenthood, have the best medical service
they can have. Then what do you say
to
your critics, Lieutenant Governor, was going to say, well, you know, the Republicans are launching a war on women. Hillary Clinton's having a field day and juxtaposing this against other comments Republicans have made and said, hey, they don't have women's interests at heart. How will you answer that?
They're just lies and more lies, Neil. The fact is that before, for example, we passed the sonogram bill in 2011, we found out from testimony from Planned Parenthood that they had, in some cases, nothing more than high school kids performing sonograms on women coming in for an abortion. They have always taken all the shortcuts to provide abortions at the least, and women's health care at the least lowest price they could. We even had a bill last session that's still in the courts where we just asked Planned Parenthood at least to come up to the same standards of an ambulatory health center or a medical center. In other words, somewhere you would go for day patient surgery. They didn't even want to do that. They operate, Neil, in the dark, in the shadows, and below the standards. And what our Office of Inspector General has found, and this is why I think the Texas position is different, Neil, is we're actually basing this on the same standards that we would require from any hospital, emergency room, or doctor. And we would shut down any hospital, any emergency room, any doctor, any 24-hour clinic if they did not meet federal standards. We're going to insist if Planned Parenthood wants to stay in business, then they ought to operate and give women true health care. They're not in this state. We're not going to give them Medicaid funding.
All right, Lieutenant Governor, thank you very much for taking the time. We appreciate it. By the way, this has become a political football in Washington. No surprise there. We're going to be getting Senator Marco Rubio's reaction to all of this, our special guest tomorrow on Your World. In the meantime, stocks didn't do much today, but one particular stock did a whole bunch today. Weight Watchers. It is, well, twice as fat as it was on Friday because Oprah Winfrey has declared a 10% stake in the company. Now, that is amazing. Oprah really expressed an interest in the company because she said it's good for health well-being and it's a good fitness provider and it's a good investment on her part. She joins the board. She might be starting to do commercials. And today alone, Oprah made $65 million. What is it about the rich getting richer? Anyway, well, forget the rich and forget about Oprah. Senator Bernie Sanders says, you know, she probably would be open to a much higher tax rate, maybe a 90% tax rate. I don't know. I haven't asked Oprah. But when it comes to Bernie Sanders and his plans, it is not just the rich. He wants to tax everybody, but at least he's honest about it.